I want to ask you about Netflix and specifically because that is the company of the day. They've come out and they've basically become a major studio in a short amount of time. I mean, they are bigger and they're spending more money than most of the big major traditional studios in many ways. How have they changed the movie business landscape, in your opinion, in the sense of how business is done? I mean, they literally upended this entire industry. But I want to see from your point of view how you feel that have they changed the game?
Yeah, they've changed the game in so many ways, and I would say there's a analogy that um, CAA has used multiple times, which is Netflix is not doesn't change like an entertainment company; it iterates like a tech company, and so keeping up with the change of those iterations. A tech company launches a piece of software, and then there's 2.1 and 2.2. They're literally updating the software for bugs. Netflix does that with their business model. And in an industry where things have operated pretty much the same way for
Hundreds.
50 years. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Tens of hundreds, yeah.
yes, yes. So what do we see? I think the biggest and most obvious that is on everyone's tongue is they tapped into the reality that direct to consumer is the future. And it is the future now that really smart and agile companies like Disney, who are unbelievably well run, arguably more well run, will figure it out, will catch up, will build their own product. Netflix has a head start, no doubt about it. So I think direct to consumer, that has changed a lot. We see a number of, even maybe I'm sure you recall when Uber came out, everyone and their mother was launching a business that was Uber of that, Uber of eating, Uber of walking dogs, Uber of car washes.
Sure.
Now you have everyone launching the Netflix of that. We've got the Netflix of African American content, the Netflix of Christian content, the
I,
Netflix of children's content, the
I
Netflix
mean,
of animation.
I have the Netflix of filmmaking content, with
Correct.
IFH TV as a streaming service. So,
Correct.
yes, and I position it that way. I'm like, I am the Netflix because that's something that everybody gets right away when you say
Correct.
that.
Correct. So we see a ton of those platforms popping up, which has led to great opportunity for us because then
Mm-hmm.
we become the financing partner for, I can't necessarily name the name of the companies. I'm sure you could research them, but companies that are Netflix for African American content, and they've got 700,000 subscribers that pay $6.99 a month. That's a real business.
Oh yeah.
You can finance some content. You can build a little platform. You can build a library and build a little studio. Same thing with the faith-based content. Yeah. So that has been a big opportunity that the sort of Netflix effect has created for us.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are the sort of negative implications, which is the fact that Netflix expanded very quickly to 110, 108, whatever the exact number is, international territories. And when they did that, a lot of traditional, let's just call it second window, whether that's home entertainment through pay cable, free cable, satellite,
Mm-hmm.
home
Mm-hmm.
video, was upended. And that upending took on different forms because other areas of the world are just not as saturated yet with Netflix or comfortable with Netflix. And there are certainly areas of the world that just don't have good enough internet connection to be as saturated with Netflix as we do. And so we started to see a lot of these buyers in these areas going out of business or having to merge or not being able to buy at the same level they did before or having to buy only an action movie starring Sylvester Stallone for X amount. And that's all they could buy because that's the only thing they knew guaranteed could work. So we phrase it internally as the Netflix effect, continuing to push out traditional second window, again, in many forms, pay cable, TV, free cable, home entertainment. Then you have the reality of the Netflix originals, right? So now we're talking about the business model, direct to consumer, the business model being now applied to us as their model, then expanding and pushing out a lot of these traditional buyers, which has changed the way filmmakers can pre-sell content. It has changed the ways that financiers can bank certain content. Like the UK used to be one of the most important territories in the world. There's like 2 theatrical distributors left on that entire country. So that's a huge change. And then you've got the implications of Netflix originals, which is crazy. Crazy because it changed so much over the last 3 or 4 years, which was they came out big at places like Sundance and Cannes and Berlin,
Mm-hmm.
buying big, splashy titles. And then they said, you know what? Screw it. We don't need to acquire anything. let's just sign overall deals with the Duplasses or sign an overall deal with Woody Allen at Amazon. And all of a sudden it became, okay, they're just financing all this content and producing it from an early stage. And that changed the landscape for distributors. Do you think